The truth has finally leaked, as one of the key New York Jets core players is up for a contract extension, and now things keep getting even crazier as multiple extensions have gotten done for similar players. That has led to this Jets player speaking out on the situation while fans turn towards Darren Mougey to see what he is going to do and what his plans are about this. We're going to break down everything surrounding this and much more, guys. What's up? Welcome back to Jets Digest. Real quick before we get into things, if you guys are part of that 66% that's not subscribed to Jets Digest, make sure to subscribe. We got a bunch of videos coming out right now as football is back. We are in the midst of preseason football, and honestly, I will take that over the absolutely nothing we've had for all this time. It feels good to be back. It feels good to start this once again in season, or sort of in season, in preseason football. But let's jump into the video. There's a lot to go over, as there's been a lot of discussion surrounding Breece Hall. After both Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson got their contract extensions, many fans wondered what that meant for the New York Jets starting running back. Hall has been a very solid running back for the Jets, and in his rookie year, he looked like a future superstar at the position. But after tearing his ACL, there was a lot of question marks risen in that second year, where despite the fact that he was still over Dalvin Cook in the depth chart, yeah, remember those days? But despite that, he didn't have the year that fans were really hoping he would. And then last year, he took a step back as well. And there was some real concern about if Breece Hall would be the running back for the future. After in his rookie season, the obvious answer was a clear yes. Now, entering year 4, Breece Hall is up for a contract extension with the New York Jets. And after some recent extensions have been signed, there's been a lot of questions surrounding if Hall is going to get that deal. We've seen deals happen with multiple players for this Jets team, or for the NFL, that impact this Jets team, such as Quinnen Williams and James Cook, as it was just revealed that James Cook would be getting a contract extension from the Buffalo Bills, as it was revealed by Schefter that two-time Pro Bowl running back James Cook and the Buffalo Bills reached an agreement on a contract extension. According to his agents, the deal includes mostly guaranteed money for a running back in the last 5 years. It's more money, more guaranteed money than any running back has received in 5 years. Cook now gets a very nice contract for himself, which is going to have an implication on the Jets and the Breece Hall situation. Now, when we look at the contract that James Cook signed, we now see that he will be on a deal worth an average annual value of $12 million per year on a 4-year, $48 million contract. So a good contract for James Cook right there, with a ton of guaranteed money, as he has been an excellent running back throughout his career thus far, and that has led to a bunch of conversations surrounding Hall. Now, Cook last season played in 16 games. He had 207 rush attempts for 1,009 yards. That is an average yards per average of 5 nearly. Very good season for him, which also saw him get 16 touchdowns. If I stuttered right there, which I did, it is because I just bit the inside of my mouth. It was really fun to do. But guys, James Cook had the best season of his career last year and got rewarded with a very good contract for a running back. In an era where we see a ton of running backs not get paid, we just saw James Cook get some serious money, and he's not the only one, as we've also seen this from Quinnen Williams, who got a 3-year, $33 million deal, so $1 million average annual value less, as Williams is getting $11 million per year from the Rams as he continues to be their lead back going forwards for the foreseeable future. Williams came out of nowhere and was absolutely excellent, and even though it felt like Blake Corum was going to take his job, Williams shut that down by being one of the better running backs in football and putting up very good numbers in the process. Getting last season in 316 attempts, he rushed for 1,299 yards, 4 yards per attempt, and 14 touchdowns. Quinnen Williams had an excellent season last year and has been an excellent running back throughout his time in the NFL thus far. And a lot of fans now wonder, so what happens with Breece Hall? Hall, who came to the NFL at the same time as these guys, there's now a lot of questions on what his future holds for the New York Jets. I mean, Hall, as of right now, or as of last season, had 209 attempts for 876 yards and 5 touchdowns. His numbers were considerably worse than the other two guys he was seen with, but also he did get less attempts. However, at the end of the day, he was less effective. Now, part of that was last year the Jets were just a Murphy's Law team. Even Sauce Gardner, who's been one of, or had the best start in history of any defensive back to start their career in the NFL, took a step back last year as well, and all of a sudden this year the Jets defense looks completely better. Sauce Gardner's actually tackling. He looks better than ever before. So last year we can chalk up to somewhat of a Murphy's Law year, but it is going to affect your pay, and Breece Hall is at the forefront of that, because unlike Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, who feel like they're completely irreplaceable, the running back position is inherently replaceable. Now, obviously, a lot of NFL running backs don't see it that way, and there are great running backs who are an exception to that rule. For instance, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, both exceptions to that rule, no doubt about it. You pay them the money because they are worth it. When you have a running back who's in that top tier, so like those two, yeah, it's a little bit different. When Nick Chubb was at his best, yeah, that's a little bit different. When Le'Veon Bell was at his best on the Steelers, not in New York, that was a little different. But even so, Le'Veon didn't get paid by the Steelers for a reason, and it did make sense. We see these top tier running backs who are able to just impact the game in multiple levels, like McCaffrey, or just be able to be an absolute monster the way that Saquon is. We've seen them have a lot of success and get paid for it. But outside of that, most running backs don't really get a ton of money or get a ton of guaranteed anything because it's inherently a replaceable position where you usually have 3 to 4 running backs on your team. We know the Jets like Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis a lot, which makes things a little bit more complicated for Breece Hall going into this contract time. And Hall, he spoke on this entire situation and discussed what it's like, what it means to him with his counterparts getting paid, and he said they've done more than me. They've been in better situations. I feel like I'm just as talented as anyone, but those two guys deserve their payday and got what they deserve. So something that you know Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey are going to love is that Breece Hall gave a very, very, very professional answer. He said, yeah, both those guys have been better than me. They've performed better and they've been in better situations. All those things are true. Neither of Quinnen Williams or James Cook had to deal with that Aaron Rodgers BS over the last 2 years, or having Zach Wilson as a quarterback. Like, they've each had consistent quarterback play. I mean, Josh Allen's been one of the best quarterbacks in football ever since James Cook got drafted. And on top of that, since Quinnen Williams has gotten drafted, Matthew Stafford has been there, who's been remarkably consistent and has, you know, led them to a Super Bowl. So when you consider all of this, it does become this situation where you look at the New York Jets, where you look at Breece Hall, and it does make sense why he feels this way, but also it's professional. He could be upset about it, but instead, the indication he's giving is that he wants to prove it and that he doesn't feel like he's proven it yet. This is exactly what Aaron Glenn wants out of his players, and it shows that he is bought in. Now, at the end of the day, it's also going to come to the front office. Do they want to retain Breece Hall? They didn't draft Breece Hall. They don't feel any special connection to him. Me and Matt said that time and time again when it came to Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. Obviously, they were both going to be extended, but at the same time, it's not like they drafted them, so it's a little bit different. At the same time, they haven't drafted Breece Hall, and they could go out and just draft a running back and solve the problem and reset the running back clock if they feel like it, if they see a prospect who's worth that gamble. Now, Breece Hall, it's going to come down to a lot of things because he's also found his name in trade rumors. If the Jets are good, if they're overachieving at the trade deadline and they look like there's a world where they could make the playoffs, Breece is not going anywhere because he is an impact player on this team. The Jets do not have good receiving options. Breece Hall is good at receiving for a running back as well. So there's a lot to like about Breece Hall's game going into if you're a successful team. However, if the Jets have 2 wins by the I almost said the All-Star break, like this is the MLB or the NBA. If they have 2 wins or around that by the trade deadline, then yeah, you move Breece for what you can get, which is likely going to be some sort of 3rd-round pick. And honestly, it's worth it because then you just reset it instead of having to pay Breece Hall while you guys are losing. There's no reason to pay a running back if you're a losing team because, frankly, again, unless it's the Saquon Barkleys or Christian McCaffreys of the world, they are replaceable. That being said, I am a huge fan of Breece Hall. I was a huge fan of him coming out of the draft as well. So I do want to see Breece succeed with the New York Jets, and I do want to see him get paid overall, but he is going to have to play better if he wants one of those extensions. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to get back to you, like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and go Jets. Also, Matt is still around. We're not like trading off, and now I'm just here. Usually Matt will be here making these videos, but he's a little busy right now, so I'm just stepping in. But you'll see us both on the duos very soon, like tomorrow soon.